gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Well, good hump day morning, Bakersfield and surrounding communities. Everybody watching online on YouTube and Twitch. This is the Early Bird Special. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for, sir.
We'll recap that exciting All-Star game last night. We'll talk a little baseball. We'll talk some NFL. We've got some WNBA news. Caitlin left with another injury, and the whole Angel Caitlin feud now has dragged over to a Shaq and RG3 thing we'll get into. Plus, we welcome back Bolt Brady from Bolt Brady and his bro right here on ESPN Bakersfield. You could call or text in anytime during the show at 661-842-2000.
And we highly recommend you utilize this time with Bolt Brady. He's here to help you out with the British Open for you golf fans. And that's right around the corner, obviously. So you can make some money with our guy, Bolt Brady. Top 5% in all sports betting. It's honestly shocking. It's shocking to me that no one has, or I shouldn't say no one. We've had a handful of people reach out and ask some questions and ask for some solid choices for these things. But you're utilizing the time, man. You got 30 minutes with the guy, and he could help you make some good cash for over the weekend for all of you betting fans out there.
Gamble while you can.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to bring up, especially with everybody crashing down on sports gambling, crashing down on fantasy gambling, I guess, quote unquote. That's how they're going to put it out. But I mean, it's fantasy sports to us. But for all of you that are on Underdog Fantasy and all that type of stuff, jump on it now. Text, call in 661-842-2000. You can talk to Bolt while he's here with us, and we'll help you out, make some cash. We do got to talk about this All-Star game, though.
And before we get into that, what happened to the uniforms?
That's honestly what I was kind of wondering, too. I was like you had the uniforms for the home run derby, but not for the okay, that didn't make a lot of sense to me either, but I guess you get the best of both worlds. We were talking about that the other day. What's better, when they all have unified uniforms, or if it's, everybody comes in their own uniform? I
know a lot of people didn't like them, but I was looking forward to them. I liked them.
I thought they looked cool. I mean, you heard me yesterday, though. My only gripe against it is, why are we doing blue and bluer? Like, why not just do red and blue or anything like that and change it up a little bit, That's the only thing that I had against it. But I did agree with you. I agree with you. I walked, turned it on the game, walked into the room, and I said, why is Shohei in Dodger blue? What's going on here? Like, why is everybody in their own uniforms?
There was a lot of them.
But I mean, again, it is what it is. It's personal preference for people, I suppose. It didn't take away from the game, which was incredibly entertaining. The NL got out on a quick lead. AL came back in the ninth to tie it. We went to the first ever swing off for the win, which led to one of my favorite baseball players, Kyle Schwarber, winning the whole dang thing for the NL with 3 perfect bombs. And it was at least entertaining. They found a way to make it fun. And we were talking about it, I think, on Monday. The over-under for the score was 20 runs plus?
Yes.
Way under.
Yeah.
Way under. So obviously we didn't get the home run excitement that everybody was kind of hoping for. But you got a couple good ones. Pete Alonso had a 3-run dinger. I mean, I have no quarrels with the game, to be honest with you. I'm a baseball fan, so I enjoyed it through and through.
I got home right at the beginning of the 5th inning, and I watched the rest of the game. I was entertained. It was a good game.
This is a big question out to people who were griping, saying, oh, some of these people shouldn't be in the game. How do you feel now? Everybody showed out. Everybody had a solid game. Like, don't get me wrong, there are guys who put up overs. Duh. You get 1, maybe 2 at-bats in this game, and you're not always going to get a hit. Pitchers came to play. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I was nervous it was going to be shut out, but luckily the American League showed up when it mattered.
Absolutely.
And it came down to the bottom of the top of the 9th, really. But it was a hell of a game. I was entertained.
And tying it up in the 9th, we go to our first ever home run derby-esque swing off for the win. Everybody was mic'd up that needed to be at the time too. Loved the entire section or the entire segment with Clayton Kershaw, even though it was maybe a batter or two, but it was still fun to hear him joke around saying he was going to throw some cheese. Like that was pretty entertaining. The game itself was great. No gripes against it whatsoever, in my opinion. I'm wondering though how everybody else felt. Text in 661-842-2000. I'm a baseball fan. I was going to enjoy it regardless just because it's baseball. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy the All-Star game last night? Does it actually live up to a lot of these, expectations that we have for these All-Star games? I know a lot of people were, peeved that some people got put in that shouldn't have been there, quote unquote, and left to other people were left out. There were a lot of first timers this year. I have no quarrels with it. I think everybody had a great game. I think it was fun to watch regardless. And for it to come down to the swing off at the end and for Kyle Schwarber just to bomb all three of them just to give the NL the lead at the time. And I think Pete Alonso really was the one who capped it off for him. But still, it was just a lot of fun.
Well, Alonso was the one that didn't get to bat.
Oh, he didn't get to bat. That's right. I'm sorry. It was the AL guy didn't get anything afterwards. You're right. But regardless, it
was nice. As soon as he walked up, I knew he was going to do it.
Well,
everybody, even the announcers were like, "Oh, watch
once
out."
The announcer says, like, if he can get on his first one, it's over. And he barely got that first one. It barely nicked the front of that 400 wall.
My question is, something we talked about, leading up to the game was the robots.
Yep, the ABS.
I loved it.
First inning, I called it. You could listen to the Ralph Bailey show yesterday. I called it that they were going to do it early and they were going to get it out of the way. Scooble did it early. It worked out in his favor. Everybody walks off. Dodger fans, you can even be happy because it happened to Manny Machado. So you could sit there and say, ha, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, the catcher pulling it in the ninth was genius. And I was like, nobody's going to have a better view than the catcher.
No. And those are the three people that are only allowed to call it: the pitcher, the catcher, and the hitter. And it has to be immediate. You can't sit there and wait on it for a second.
My thing was how quick it was.
Yes.
I was like, that's awesome.
No, and that's how it's supposed to be. You have to do it immediately. You can't.
No, I'm just talking about the review, how quick it is.
No,
I'm
that's
like,
fair.
You know how they take a break and, at the NFL, they'll take a break and we'll see the replay and it's instant.
Well, I feel like football, though, that's kind of outside of a first down marker, there's really not an easy way to go about a review. They really do have to sit there and assess the video or the tape and what went wrong. And
the announcers did get into a good conversation on how the square that they use is different from different batters.
Absolutely.
And that needs to be updated. But I liked it. Personally.
Honestly, obviously everybody's strike zone is different because it's always based on, what they tell you is, I believe it's armpit to waistline or something of that nature, just under the waistline or knees, I think. And maybe I can't even remember exactly. Don't.
And how they sit, their stance, and
right. And it's all going to change based on that. Right. But that's why you can't take out the umpire. And that's why Manfred said on McAfee, he doesn't plan to take out the umpire. There's always going to be a human element in baseball when it comes to this, because everybody keeps referencing it, and I'll just bring it up because we didn't bring it up. But Smoltz brought up a very good point when they were talking to him about this. There's no way a computer is going to be able to assess a high fastball because it's really hard for a batter to hit that ball. And if it's anywhere close to a strike, it's going to be an automatic strike for a pitcher. It's just not going to make the game fair. You have to keep the umpire element in there just to shift it when it needs to be shifted and make it a little bit more fair for the batter to get an easier hit, or at least an easier chance at making a play for his team. So you're never going to get rid of the umpire altogether. But I think last night what we saw was a tasteful way to know that this isn't going to change baseball all that much. And for everybody that keeps saying, the players don't like it, shenanigans. The only ones that don't like it are a handful, or I shouldn't even say a handful, a good amount of pitchers don't like it because they know that this also keeps them in check, because they benefit a lot as well, just as much as they don't benefit sometimes from certain umpires. Sometimes they get the call, sometimes they don't. And this allows batters to at least keep everybody in check, especially in certain situations where they know for a fact that wasn't a strike and it gets called a strike. So sure, some people aren't going to like it. But to be honest with you, I think after a year of it, maybe 2 years of it, once it gets pretty much integrated into baseball, I think everybody's going to realize and actually have that conversation with themselves of, wow, I can't believe we ever had Major League Baseball without this.
Exactly.
I genuinely feel it's going to go that way. And honestly, because I think the NFL kind of went that way too. I'm sure everybody fought it when it came to reviews back then too. And look at it now. Can you really imagine a football game without the ability for a coach to throw that red flag and review a play that potentially should have gone their way? No, we all need that in sports. We are human. We make error. And at some point, you have to be held accountable for that. And that's all ABS is going to do, is allow these guys to hold not only umpires accountable, but pitches and pitchers and a lot of other parts of the game that sometimes get missed, sometimes go under the radar. So it's not that big of a deal. Did it change the game at all for anybody? No. And honestly, was I right about the whole tennis-like situation where, oh, here comes the review, put it up on the screen, yes, it's a strike, he's out. That was entertaining as heck. Come on, the suspense of it actually being called right or wrong. You can't sit there and tell me that everybody wasn't sitting there waiting, even though it was an all-star game, just waiting to hear that Manny Machado was actually struck out by Tyreek. Come on. That was so much fun to wait for. So I think it was a success. I think it was a rousing success. And again, like we said yesterday, and as I've been reading and been seeing, it's coming in 2026, whether we like it or not.
Yep. Get used to it.
It's here.
The sport's growing.
Yep. And it's evolving.
It's got to adapt.
And honestly, baseball has desperately needed to come into the modern era for the longest time. And I think this is just the first step. Now, granted, I'm not going to sit here and say you're going to get, automatic hitting bats and stuff like that. Let's not get crazy. But it's going to be something like you're going to get certain things like a torpedo bat in different ways, because much like a strike zone, everybody's hit and swing is different. So why not make a bat that's going to actually fit that situation? More technology is going to be used to help baseball and baseball players improve their game. It's okay. And honestly, I'm all for it. I say use technology to improve the game. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what it's there for.
That's exactly what I think.
Bring on the second half of the season.
Exactly.
I know my Mariners got the Astros at the end of the week, so bring it on.
Get to experience the cheaters. I mean, again, going back to that.
Hopefully my hat will be there by Friday.
Well, no, they're usually quick turnaround, right? Did they ever tell you how long it was going to be? Maybe 7 to 10.
Hadn't got shipped yet. So
yeah, it may take a while. That you might be in trouble. Regardless, Sparky's first game. We should do something for your first game. We should go somewhere and have listeners be able to come and sit to watch your first.
Well, the first ones were the Tigers series, so I'm happy already.
Well, I don't know if you want to be happy against the Tigers. That's the number one team in baseball right now.
3-0. The 3 games I watched.
Oh, I get what you mean now. I get what you're saying.
It was the first 3 games I watched the whole game for the season. So
you keep saying the beginning of the season is after the All-Star game. So we all have to start the season with you, Sparky.
Well, I picked my team
your opening
a couple
day.
Days before. There was a good series coming. So, and I people give me crap, but I don't have a problem with the Astros.
Really?
Yeah. Altuve had won me money multiple years in my fantasy baseball. So, and we go back to the conversation is everybody's cheating in baseball.
I wouldn't go that far.
I will.
I mean, what are you saying? Like stealing signs and stuff like that?
I think the sign stealing has been going on for 100 years. So it's not.
Well, that's in every sport,
getting popped.
Like you can't sit there. You can't sit there and tell me a college team doesn't look at that big board that's got multiple signs on it and says, okay, which one is this?
And if you've ever talked to former athletes, they all think they have an edge for some reason on something, or I know this guy's tendencies and I know this call. And I mean, I've watched plenty of documentaries that they say, they use that same sign, 2 weeks before. We already knew their playbook when they came in. And we just, came in thinking, okay, if they scream, this word, then that we know that they're going to go to a quick slant. And so, I mean, it's just a part of baseball, but I also grew up rooting on Barry Bonds. So maybe I'm not the right guy to talk that conversation. I mean, we'll take our break. We do got a couple texts. We'll get into some WNBA news. We got some NFL news we'll talk about. And sometime before the show ends, we got to throw out some love to Evan Cohen, who joined us a couple weeks ago. He was on fire this morning. He got to sit down with CM Punk and Rhea Ripley as they tore talking about this new Netflix show, so we can get into that and much more. Feel free to call or text in anytime during the show at 661-842-2000. Our shirts are in stock, so if you'd like to win a shirt, just take part in the show, 842-2000. We are the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back and good morning.
Football is coming.
Yes, it is. But before I get to that, I forgot. There's one more thing that we have to highlight from last night's All-Star game that I thought was really, really cool. Did you see the 7:15 tribute to Hank Aaron?
Aaron, yeah.
That was awesome. The ability, I mean, we talked about using technology in baseball.
Showing the homework.
Dude, that was just incredible. The show of it, him recreating the home run with the firework, like that was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. Like it just was really, really well done. And the show of it was immaculate. Like seeing the drone shot of everything and the video being projected on the field. Wow. Just wow. And honestly, for all of it to line up obviously on July 15th in Atlanta, that was just really, really cool. And a really, really just unique way to not only celebrate All-Star game in Atlanta, but to celebrate one of baseball's biggest achievements. I just thought that was a really, really cool thing to do. So I had to highlight that before we move on into football because we have.
Well, and
plenty of
today
football
is
to talk about.
the ESPN's big SB Day where they raise money
That's
for all
right.
the fundraising, and it kind of hit the heart this morning. I was driving in, and they replayed the Stuart Scott
My
speech,
God.
and it still tugs on the heart, man. That one was rough.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a hell of a way to start a morning. But yeah, that Hank Aaron dedication, whatever you'd call it, that was awesome.
Dedication's probably the best way to put it, but wow. Just it was a really, really well done. Like, I don't want to call it a performance because that's not what it is, but it was just dedication. It was a really, really well done dedication to the situation. And whoever is in charge of doing that and the team that was in charge of putting that together, my hat's off to you because that was the highlight of the night, in my opinion. Outside of Clayton Kershaw being mic'd up and all that type of stuff, that dedication was just
my phone was blowing up. Oh, Kershaw's coming in. He's coming in early.
Well, yeah, he wants to
Who
get it out of the
cares?
way. Like Dave, look, man, let's be honest. Kershaw has been vocal about it. He really didn't feel like he should have been chosen for the All-Star game, but he understands and he will, like, he'll take it and run with it. It's a Legends nod, so everybody gets it.
I was glad he got in and out.
Yeah.
Without
I
any
think he looked at
injuries.
Dave and said, Dave, right after Paul,
Yeah.
put me in for a batter. Let's get this done so the real All-Stars can get to playing.
The real All-Stars.
Like,
well, the two texts, one of them goes right back to it. It was great to see Kershaw. Just wish Ohtani could have stayed
a little bit longer. Yeah.
And I wish his hit would have stayed in bounds, go blue. And that was a hell of a hit. I did catch that. The other one says the game was great. Only thing I wish was some of the earlier batters or earlier players that were pulled could have stayed and played in the hit off at the end.
I mean, well, I think the hit off was chosen at the time. I don't think that it was really based on who was on.
Well, a lot of the players, because the announcers on ESPN were saying, "Oh, it would have been cool to see, the Otanis or the judge, but they're in street clothes now."
Yeah, which, I mean, it is what it is. You still got the best of the best, and
it was a hell of a show. So
outside of the NL, I mean, the NL really would have subbed in one guy. That would have been Shohei. Let's be honest. Shohei hitting probably last. Probably would have started with Kyle, done Pete second.
Still wouldn't needed him.
No.
So no. It wouldn't have mattered.
No, not at all. I mean, again, it was an entertaining way to end the game. Everybody had fun. It was just, it's probably the best way you could have pulled off this All-Star week. Really.
And one of the announcers were saying that he was one of the few that finished in a tie.
Mm-hmm.
And he said this was just a great way to include so the games don't end in a tie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was cool.
I agree with you. I think that's the best way to do it. We went into the week skeptical because of our thoughts about All-Star weekends in general. To be honest with you, it was looking like it was going to shape up to be something very similar to what we're used to already. I am pleasantly surprised that this went off without a hitch. To be honest, the 2 days in general, I'll give it a B+, A-.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really will. And that's coming from me, who is a notorious hater of All-Star games.
I even watched the what was it? was it Friday or Saturday? I watched. It was Saturday.
Oh, the
Because it was
Futures
after
game.
Superman. I got to catch the Futures
The
game. That was
Futures game
good.
is usually pretty entertaining, even though most of those kids probably won't play for the organizations that they're playing for right now. But
I was just happy to be alive because I've been teaching my son how to drive, and he drove me around for about an hour before. So I got to catch the first 4 innings on ESPN radio right here.
sounds like you need to take him to the BC parking
And we
lot.
only hit one curb, so we're good.
Oof.
And I let him drive the truck, so curbs are really ain't an issue.
Okay. Yeah. No,
But
this is
yeah.
why you have a truck, Sparky.
and it's crazy. I'll get into this because when I'm back in my days, we had to take the I went down to Kern driving off of 28th or whatever F Street and did a whole 8-hour class and had to do the VR driving before we could even get behind the wheel. And how they do it now, they take that class, but it's online, and then they have to do 3 2-hour behind the wheels, but with the teacher. So yesterday was his first day of the 2 hours with the teacher, and he was laughing because it was an older lady, and she's got the brake on the passenger side.
Dang, Skippy.
And he had to drive around town for 2 hours with this lady.
Yep.
So he knew her age, he knew what movies she likes, what kind of music, and I was like, okay,
At least he's personable. That's good.
And he said that he killed it in the driving. He had to work on a couple things, just braking a little bit when he turns, and so I let him drive for about 45 minutes to an hour yesterday. And after he shook off the one little curb off of Wilson, he was good. So I'm just thinking now in my older days, I'm thinking, okay, well, if we're letting these younger people start to drive, maybe we start to subtract the older people that are driving and keep the population right on the road, because every day leaving the radio station and driving back to Moneywise, it's not once, it's twice at least that I get cut off.
I'm glad you brought this up because
every day
I have been saying that for years. I think that we definitely need, and I don't mean for this to sound ageist at all, but I do believe that we need a set age where you can't drive anymore because your cognitive ability has gone down. This is just a scientific fact.
Yes.
So I'm glad you brought this up though, because on my way in today, Sparky, right outside of my apartment, so I am walking out of my apartment as I am wont to do to walk to my garage, and I hear a big rig just stop in the middle of the road. And I say, what is going on? Now, mind you, I live right here off of California Avenue. So this big rig stopped in the middle of an intersection, realized, oh, Lord, I'm going the wrong way. Backed up his big rig all the way back till past the red light he was already past, just because he needed to turn left. Mind you, he is in the far right lane.
He's blocking everybody.
Oh my Lord. I had to stop, dude. I am walking and I stopped. I looked back. It is an elderly man. I could see the white in his hair. White man with a white goatee. I don't know who you are, who you worked for. A big piece of me wanted to take a picture of your truck just so I can call the company and tell them what the heck you just did. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to be a Karen.
Now, yeah.
I'm not going to be a Karen. I'm not going to do that. But I was in shock. I just sat there with my absolutely flabbergasted that this man in a big rig was backing up, and then it solidified my thought process again for the upteenth time. You shouldn't be driving, because not only are you in the wrong lane and not even close to the right one, you're in a big rig hauling stuff on a civilian road, and you just backed up way more than 10 feet. Granted, there was no one behind you, but that is besides the point. And then tried to turn to the left and get behind a car so you could turn left, cutting off everyone else just so you can get to your destination.
I can usually pick out the old guys.
And guess where his destination was, Sparky?
Right here.
Couple doors up. Yeah.
Of course.
Right here. I'm like, big piece of me wants to say something, but I'm like, no, I'm going in. I'm not letting
my pet peeve is the ones that wait until the last minute and then shoot over 3 lanes to turn right.
And again, not to make this about, driving or, deter the whole show, but I'm glad someone else has said it. I didn't have to be the one to say it, because I get a lot of grief for, being the young one. So I don't need any more grief on that end, but I have had that thought process. I feel like 80 is a solid number where you should not be driving anymore, big dog. I'm sorry. I know it's a pride thing, but you have to know that you are not the driver you think you are.
There's different ways to get around.
I got ran off the road by an old couple in a truck the other day, right over here next to the Shell station on that double turn. And I couldn't believe that they didn't even notice that I was there.
Oh, they just act stupid.
Yeah,
They'll just
and
sit
I'm
there
just
like,
like,
what?
whatever,
What?
whatever. That's why I'm saying I just got hit the other day and I got flipped. So this is the least of my worries
Mhm.
right now. But yes, I have to agree with you, my friend. I don't know how we got on this
No,
conversation, but
it's a part of life these days.
yeah,
But we'll
well,
take our break. We'll get into some football. If you have any questions or comments about the your football team, or if any of
or if you
these
just want to complain
dramatic
about
stories or the
just
driving,
complaining about old people driving. And you know what? We'll talk about a whole bunch of old people driving when we talk about the British Open later with Bolt Brady.
exactly
So
right here at 1015 ESPN Bakersfield.
Welcome back.
It's not 101.5 Big FM. It is ESPN Bakersfield
I was gonna let you
1230
slide with it. I wasn't gonna say it.
101.1 FM. Well, you can hear me and Burdick all over these stations.
Only way you can make money with this.
You
No,
gotta double
I
them up.
mean, look, we really, really enjoy it. There's nothing, but we do have slip-ups sometimes. I mean, I work on Kern all the time, so I'll probably drop 96.1 at some point, but I also don't sign off on Kern, so I'm not used to saying news talk as much. You, though, obviously on Big FM are so used to it. That's why I was like, I was just gonna let it go. I heard it and I was like, did I hear that
Well,
correctly?
we do money wise from 2 to 3 and 10, 15 years over on Kern.
Yep.
It still slips every once in a while. Or I'm like, and you could listen live at kernradio.no. Never mind.
No, you cannot.
But luckily, my boy JR is live from 2 to 3. So we'll also give some extra love over to Kern Radio, our
Which
sister station.
am also producing that show as well. But again, there's a lot of different things that we do over here. Let's talk some football, though. We've talked plenty of baseball because we had a historic signing yesterday. We talked about it already. In fact, we hinted at it that it was coming and it was very much inevitable. But Sauce Gardner signs his extension yesterday with the Giants. Sorry, not the Jets.
Jets.
I'm sorry, the Jets.
It's the Jets.
It's the Jets.
Not
I apologize.
Giants.
I don't know why.
JTS just in the
With the
season.
Jets.
Jets.
Making him the highest paid cornerback in the league. I kind of saw that coming. I had a feeling that Sauce Gardner, when he was drafted, was going to be the first guy to reach a certain number at the cornerback position, especially with all the hype that he was coming in with. But again, great sign for the Jets. As I said yesterday, you are solidifying a young core that you can build around that you have not been able to do in your program's history in quite some time. And arguably, it's some of the most pivotal positions. And if you can work this out with Justin Fields, and it does end up working in a way that you can develop him as a quarterback into the quarterback that everybody, at least in Chicago, was hoping he was going to become at one point.
Definitely one of the in this time, probably the best corner the Jets have had since Revis.
Oh my God, yeah. No,
and
easily.
I mean, it's a good signing, and I'm glad that they got to lock both their guys in.
I just am still skeptical because it's the Jets.
It's still the Jets. It's still that offensive line.
There is something about the Jets that I will never be able to let go. Maybe it's what they did to Tim Tebow. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe God is punishing them for what they did to his boy. Like, because I don't know what it is about the Jets. They've had every piece swapped out a million different times with players that should produce, and it just doesn't work out. I hope this does not happen for the upteenth time, and we finally get a Jets team that's competitive since the first time since the Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan days, if you can even call that competitive.
No thanks.
I mean, because again, they made it to the AFC Championship game, so at least they were competitive in that route. But again, that was also during the time of Darren Revis and Darrelle Revis. I apologize.
That defense,
just an incredible defense led by Rex Ryan. I don't know if you could do that right now, though, with this team. The jury's still out with me. I need to see the first 5 weeks of the season, 6 weeks maybe.
And when they kick off the season with Pittsburgh.
Yep. And while Pittsburgh at this point right now is an even bigger question mark, right? I mean, although you picked up Aaron Rodgers, you got DK Metcalf coming in to be your new wide receiver one. You lost Pickens, which is what it is. I don't know where that team is going to go. The defense, obviously, is always going to be a consideration, especially with Cam Hayward. But yeah, just like you said, where's TJ? How are we going to get him locked in? I mean, obviously, he's going to play on this 1-year contract regardless, I would assume.
Is he, though?
I would assume, honestly, at the heart of it all, these guys are football guys.
We'll know here in a week or so.
True. But that's why I've always been curious, because some of these guys are football bred and they just want to play ball. But I'm waiting for one of these teams to double down. You know what I mean? Like, everybody eventually folds, and it's always the team that ends up folding. And for good reason. Don't get me wrong. Most of these players are, well worth the money you're paying. And so is TJ Watt, worth every dang penny. But I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers might be the first team to say, this is the market we're allowed to give you right now, and you're either going to have to sign this or you're going to have to owe us money. Because I know what this is now. It's all a competition between Parsons and Watt. Who's going to get the more money? And they're both just in a stalemate of, no, you sign. No, you sign. No, you sign. And it's like, just sign. One of you two sign so we can get this going. Because neither of you want to leave your organizations.
So you think with those two, maybe even throw in Hendrickson, you think that's one signs and then the dominoes roll, or
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think Trey has anything to do with the situation, though, only because I think the Bengals really just don't want to pay defensive players.
what they need to just say it then?
I know, but the Trey Hendrickson thing would be interesting to see, especially if he got traded to a different team and then he got paid, because I do believe Trey is worth at least. He's not worth T.J. Watt or Micah Parsons money. Don't get me crazy, or don't call me crazy, but I do think he at least deserves something a little bit underneath that. He's been the sack king of the NFL for the last 2 years, has been a consistent threat at his position. And honestly, you put him in anybody's defense, he's going to keep doing what he does best. So I would at least say he warrants $30 million, 35 at the most, but in the $40 million range, just like Myles Garrett gets, what you're expecting maybe TJ and Parsons to get, it wouldn't go that crazy. But 100%, I'm thinking whichever domino falls first, TJ or Parsons, the other one will fall probably the next day or even the next week once the contract gets filled out. But yeah, it's all a domino situation, I think, at this point, because TJ doesn't want to leave Pittsburgh. Let's be honest. There's no reason that we have seen that TJ Watt is unhappy in Pittsburgh, has been playing unhappy in Pittsburgh. I think he really enjoys playing there and would like to play his entire career there. I think it's really just a money factor right now and figuring out, okay, how much is Parsons going to get compared to what TJ is going to get, because they both want the top dollar and have that pride over everybody else in the position.
Yep, and Schefter was on Unsportsmanlike and gave us an update on the whole Hendrickson and Bengals ordeal.
I think that the issue there right now would seem to be the length of the years in the contract. Again, Trey Hendrickson and TJ Watt, they want more years. The teams want to give them fewer years. Both players are in their 30s. So for the players, it's about getting as much guaranteed money as you can over a longer period of time. And for the teams, they want to keep the players, although obviously it feels like Pittsburgh is more intent upon keeping TJ Watt than Cincinnati is with Trey Hendrickson. But nobody's been able to get a deal done. And I think the bigger issue right now is the length of the contract, which equals guaranteed money, right? Like that's the issue on both. I think Pittsburgh and TJ Watt somehow will figure out a way. Best I could tell, they haven't gotten close recently, but we'll see if they can figure out a way to get that done by the time camp begins.
Honestly, if that is so the case, I mean, Trey's not going to get the years from the Bengals. That's not going to happen. If we're just talking about a year factor here, and TJ wants just the, I guess, contract for the remainder of his career, I would assume.
Yep.
Because I mean, at this point, if you are in your 30s, I would think maybe you get 5-6 years out of him.
Well, he's just made it public that he doesn't want to keep playing on these 1-2 year deals.
Absolutely not. Nobody does. I mean, I very much understand that no athlete wants to play on a 1-year deal, because that just shows a bout of no confidence. You do not believe that I'm good enough to keep on your organization past this year. But I don't think TJ Watt should feel that way. Again, not far be it for me to say how this man should feel. But nothing has really shown that the Steelers don't want you around in this organization. You really think the Steelers are going to move on from TJ at any point in time in the next 5 to 6 years?
I see him retiring before then.
I do too. I think he would retire just like his brother did and retire at a younger age. So maybe it's a 4-year gap then here. And even if that is so the case, that's definitely not going to happen. There is no way this marriage is at a point where the Pittsburgh Steelers are thinking, we can't pay this man. Look at what he's going to become. It's like, are you kidding? No, I highly doubt that is the case. But I mean, if it does come down to he just wants more years in the contract, I mean, Schefter knows better than anybody how these things go and what's going on inside those rooms. So maybe that is what it is. I would assume, though, that it's more connected to the Micah Parsons situation and who's going to get more money guaranteed down the line.
That's where the line is. It's the guarantees. And It's the same thing we've talked about for weeks, is about, the 32 unsigned rookies. And it'll go right back to the Shamar Stewart, who is now taking it public, where he's going back to Texas A&M to work out. And, that's what he's been doing. He hasn't set any foot into the Cincinnati since he left rookie minicamp. And it is all about the guarantees. And I know the NCAA rules generally having draft players, any players that have been drafted, they cannot return to college football.
No.
So now his agent has came out and said, we're not away from just taking the year off and re-entering the draft next year, which would be crazy. One,
That's what I
because
was
I've
just
never
saying.
seen that happen.
No, but in how would that help your draft stock? It's not that you would not be a first round draft pick next year. There's no way, especially your statistics at Texas A&M. Although you were really at a prospect level, you showed out during the camps and stuff like that. But if you look at his stats at Texas A&M, they're really not that flashy. Like, I was genuinely shocked at points when people were talking about this guy so covetedly, because I was like, I don't think the numbers really match up to the play, but it is what it is. This is absolutely unprecedented, though. I don't think any player has actually done this, especially a first round pick. But again, I kind of cycle back around here to, does it look worse on Shamar or does it look worse on the Bengals?
I think if the Trey Hendrickson thing wasn't going on at the same time, it would be more of Shamar. But now it just kind of clouds over Cincy and how they really don't take care of their defensive players. And I think we'll learn more here in the next couple of weeks, as a lot of teams will be starting camp tomorrow, Friday, and even early next week. So we'll see more and more of this, because there's not just one rookie.
No.
There's 31 other rookies that are looking for contracts, and it's all around that guaranteed money.
I mean, again, the first round draft picks, though, from everything that we understand, especially in the NFL, should be a handheld walkthrough. So if your organization can't even figure that part of it out, that's where I'm like, that's a little bit suspicious to me. There's something in this that doesn't, I'm not gonna say it doesn't feel right, but somebody made some dumb decisions, and now the organization is going to have to pay for it, in terms of, you're going to get some bad rep for this. No defensive player is going to want to come play for you, at least for the next couple of years, because all they're going to think is you're going to lowball them, or you're going to make them sign a contract that all the money that you claim is guaranteed is no longer guaranteed. Because that's what really this is all boiling down to, is that the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to work out a deal where it's kind of just a handshake deal in a way, from what I've read. This is they want Shamar to essentially take a team deal in his rookie deal and promised him a bigger deal if, down the line when it comes up.
Yeah, and he sees how they're doing Hendrickson. They're
exactly.
It's
kind of exactly what you gave Trey.
Yeah,
when you
convinced
him to come to Cincinnati, is, hey, the first one may not be that great, but I promise you next year. It really just shows that you're maybe just making promises you can't keep. So that is going to be a bad look on your organization overall. That's why, personally, I think this is worse on the Bengals than it is on Shamar, especially if he leaves and reinstates in next year's draft. That's going to be ugly.
That'd be insane. But we'll get into this. We got some WNBA news, and sometime before the show ends, I want to know what Burdick thinks about this new WWE show that's coming up right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM. is the early bird special final segment of the first hour. Don't forget, join us in the 8:30 segment. Holt Brady returns to the show to try to help you guys out with the British Open before it gets started. Get you some picks to potentially make you some money for over the weekend. Before we get out of football, though, let's talk about this Terry McLaurin situation, because this is growing and growing and seems to be the frustrations may not be able to be fixed. And Terry McLaurin might be on his way out of Washington.
That is insane.
It is absolutely insane, especially since this guy's literally led you through the worst days of this organization, including the name change. So I am just very shocked by this, but I'm going to throw something out here. Terry, go play for Atlanta. Go to Atlanta. Hear me out on this. Atlanta wants to ship out Kyle Pitts. We can make something work here.
Yeah.
Take him. We'll give you Kirk, too. Kirk can have a reunion with Washington. We'll give you both. Everybody's happy.
If you took the contract.
Terry comes and plays for Atlanta, is a great pairing with Drake London. Gives Michael Penix something to play with. I'm just saying, I would like the pairing. I would enjoy watching that. I know. I'm honestly, if Terry does end up leaving, though, realistic situations here, do you see anybody kind of making that shot? I think Pittsburgh would probably be one of those teams that would call. New England, definitely. I think the Jets would love to reunite another Ohio State wide receiver with a quarterback.
The Raiders.
I would like to see that as well, but I think the Raiders need to figure out if the quarterback situation is going to work for them.
Well, they locked him in, so
that's true.
As long as Pete Carroll's there, Gino will be there.
So
yeah, I mean, I think you could list 31 teams that wouldn't shake on picking up Terry. I love the guy, so I hope he stays in Washington just because of all the crap he's had to deal with being at the bottom of the division to actually a winning team.
It just seems like it's a terrible timing situation too, because like, dude, you guys just got good. Like, don't leave. You just got good. Like, but I mean, if you're gonna leave, I would say Atlanta, you better make some moves to make this happen, because God, would that be awesome to see Drake London, Michael Penix, and Scary Terry all in the same offense together. And Bijan. Oh my. And Tyler Algier too. Probably would have to be part of the deal though, unfortunately. It's a weird situation that I hate seeing, because I agree with you. I like seeing Terry with Washington. It just fits right. Obviously, he's been there for so long, and with so many different quarterbacks, it just
anybody but Buffalo. Because I could think of Buffalo needs a receiver.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to see that.
Josh Allen throwing bombs to Scary Terry would be absolute cinema. I don't know.
Well, in the NFL world, the last few days, they've been bickering about these top 10 quarterback lists.
True.
And I mean, everybody's a little different, whether they play fantasy or have a man crush on Josh Allen. But
whoa,
I'm just saying, not just you. I've got a couple buddies that just
give the kid his due. He is riding hot right now. He's the MVP of the league. He's married.
Jim Kelly was good too.
He's married the actress. This kid is living high. He grew up in a farm in Fireball, man. Come on, this kid's living the dream.
Yeah,
I'd love the story, but
I love how it ends.
Oh, that's messed up.
I'm just saying, I take Marino crap for 40 years.
That's true. That's very true. You are owed to be able to dish it out to your rivals as well. So I'll give you that. But a lot of these top 10 lists, I mean, the one I saw yesterday on ESPN, I mean, Patrick Mahomes obviously leading the list. Josh Allen, I believe, was number 2. 3, if I'm not mistaken, was Lamar.
Yep.
And then Joe Burrow 4. A lot of these, though, continue to have the same guys we assume are going to be on these lists. I think Baker was actually put 10th.
Yes.
Which was a shocker to
above
me.
Stroud, above some other ones.
And I saw Dan Orlovsky. I meant to cut that audio too, but Dan Orlovsky talking about that too, about CJ Stroud being left off a lot of these top 10 lists. I agree with him. That's kind of ridiculous, especially when we got guys like like Baker being number 10. Love Baker Mayfield in the story and the way he's been able to turn around his career, but to sit there and say that he's a more talented quarterback than CJ is absolutely wild. But are we just counting last year, or are we talking everything?
That's the real question, because if we're talking career, then I could understand. But if we're talking just from last year,
well,
Mahomes really won?
that's what I'm saying. We have to be talking career here because Matthew Stafford is still up there above certain people. And I think Rams fans can hate me for this. We need to stop with that. As much as I love Matt Stafford, he's not a top 10 quarterback in the league anymore.
And if you're looking at last year, I mean, really, is Burrow top 5? And is Jalen not above?
Jalen should be above Matt Stafford for sure.
Jalen
Hurts being number 9 is a ridiculous stat. It really is. I don't know. Again, there are guys like Goff that I think need to be above guys like that too. I would put Stafford at 10 or 9. I shouldn't maybe go down that low. But some of these lists, we got to figure out what they're on, because if it's a whole career thing, I have no idea. We'll take a break, though. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Early Bird Special Hour 2. And before we shift topics, we got to talk a little bit more about this quarterback list. I have it now in front of me. So ESPN has released their top 10 quarterbacks.
Does it say what it is?
That's what I'm trying to find out right now. It's just the insiders' voices. Apparently, I would assume this is just going into next season, the voters give us their best 10 players at the position. Then we compiled the results of and ranked candidates based on number of top 10 votes, composed average of dozens of interviews with research, film, study, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of factors that ESPN has used to put this together, but majority of it is just their think tanks putting together who they believe are the top 10 quarterbacks right now in the NFL. Based on, just stuff they have seen. So they do still have Patrick Mahomes at number 1, Josh Allen at number 2, Joe Burrow is number 3, Lamar is number 4, Jaden Daniels from the Washington Commanders number 5, Matt Stafford is 6, Herbert 7, Goff 8, Hurts 9, Baker 10.
Hurts at 9?
Yes. And then the honorable mentions are CJ Stroud and Jordan Love.
That was the other one.
Now, and which is wild to me, because have we not heard from most people in this summer that Jordan Love now apparently is the heir apparent to Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
That Jordan the one that's going to be making the major move this year and taking the major strides, which, not gonna lie to you, as a Bakersfield resident, would love to see.
Yeah.
Love to see the Bakersfield boy do that, just as I loved seeing Derek dang near win the MVP that one year before he was injured. And God, I really wish that didn't happen, so he could have won one. But regardless, this list, though, is kind of wild to me. One, the top four, I agree with 100%. That's been the top four since the last couple years.
I want to play fantasy football with these guys.
I mean, again, are we basing it off fantasy football numbers, though?
I'm just talking football overall.
True.
To put Jalen at 9 is just insane.
No. That part I understand.
But the top 5, I would have to put Jalen in the top 5. And
you think so?
With Burrow, I see the same thing with Burrow and Herbert. They get a lot of love for one good season. Burrow's a great quarterback.
But
what has he done since that 1 year? He's got hurt a ton of times. He's been injury plagued, and he hasn't done anything. And until he wins a game in September and he doesn't start out 0-4 or 2-6, I don't understand the love. He's not a top 5 quarterback. Look at the last 2 or 3 years of football. It proves it right there. Yeah, he had a hell of a couple games. He had a 5-touchdown game, had a 4-touchdown game. But to look at a top, I mean, damn, Jalen Hurts has outplayed Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls.
True. And
won a Super Bowl. And you're going to put him at 9 below guys like Herbert and Burrow and Stafford. I mean, I understand Stafford's got a long resume and he's a hell of a quarterback. I'm not saying they're all top 10, top 12 quarterbacks, but it's just insane what Jalen has done with Philly. I understand he's got Barkley, he's got all this, but that offense runs behind Jalen Hurts.
No, 100%. I agree with that. Jalen Hurts is a fantastic quarterback, and I would put him in the top 5. I wouldn't put him over Joe Burrow, though. I personally, I understand the Joe Burrow hype. When you look at his stats and look at what he has done for that team, personally, I get it. Yes, he's had his injury-prone situation. I'm not going to deny that. He's been knocked out of a couple seasons now, but he's also had 2 incredible bounce-back seasons that got him 2 comeback player of the years, including a dang near 5,000-yard performance last season.
That doesn't make him top 5.
And 43 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Super Bowl MVP.
43 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, though. Yeah. That's hard to argue.
And what did the number 9 quarterback do?
Let's find out right now. But again, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts does not belong.
Yeah, I just don't understand why he's not in that conversation.
No, you know what it is?
If they can jump over and talk Jordan Love is the next Mahomes.
Yeah,
they're just overlooking a couple players that have already proven what they can do.
100%. And I agree with that. But when you let's look at Jalen's numbers from last year. Jalen got, in just the pass game alone, 2,900 yards with 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Yep. And how many did he run in?
Rushing, he got 14.
There you go.
I mean, again, you could factor those in as well, but how many of those were the tush push?
Yeah, it's still part of the play.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't necessarily say the tush push warrants him being over Joe Burrow.
Well, you could put Josh Allen in the conversation because he is an overall good quarterback, plus he could run.
Right.
But then they drop that conversation when they talk about players like Jalen.
No, it's absolutely fair. No, I totally get that. And you're right. Realistically, Jalen's a much better runner than he is an actual. Like, it's not just the tush push. He has over 600 rushing yards as well. I'm not taking that away.
It's a perfect fit because he's with Sirianni and everything. Just like anything, it's the perfect match.
Right.
And it just makes me scratch my head. Is that guys like that could lead their team to a Super Bowl and just get overlooked? It's insane.
But again, you're kind of overlooking Joe Burrow, though, in the same sense, right? Because just a couple years ago, he led the Cincinnati Bengals to a Super Bowl.
And a couple years ago, Tua was in MVP talk. I mean, it's the same thing.
I agree.
If we're talking about a couple years ago, we're talking about going into this year.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. But if we're basing it off of everything that they've seen, or if it's just off of what they saw last year, we don't know.
And then that would make sense why Stafford's on the list.
Right. Well, I mean, again, Stafford being a top 10 quarterback, I do agree with, but I would just 10, maybe 9. Like, again, we need to stop. We need to pump the brakes on Matt Stafford is still a top 6 quarterback in the league. I won't go that far. I don't think he's bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's an awful quarterback. I would still pick him to lead the team any day of the week.
And I understand
he's a
it. He finished
commodity.
it off. But like you had mentioned before we went to break, Goff.
Yeah,
Jared Goff should be up in that conversation.
Jared Goff needs to be at least number 6, I think.
100%.
On this list.
I mean, he had a hell of a last couple of years.
Jaden is great. I understand that, but
Jumping
that's
the gun.
Very small sample size to sit there and say that he's the 5th best quarterback in the league.
That's insane.
But again, we were talking about the same thing with CJ Stroud when CJ had the outstanding rookie year. Everybody had him in the top 5, and now he's off the list. So we could be having the same conversation next year that Jaden's not on the list anymore, especially if Scary Terry's not going to be his number 1 receiver anymore. So this entire Commanders team could look different his entire game could look different. But that's kind of my thing is when you look at who has been the statistical dominant quarterbacks for the last couple years, that's why I put Joe Burrow in the top 4. Because when you really boil it down, every year we're talking about MVPs and who is it? It's usually the first 4 names that come up: Patrick, Josh, Joe, Lamar. And it's going to be the same 4 every single year: Patrick, Josh, Joe, Lamar, in whatever order you want to put them in. And then maybe you get your Saquon or your Jalen, yeah, or your Jaden or whomever. It's the 4.
It's just something that aggravates me because it's the same thing as they talk about Herbert being the next Joe Montana 4 years.
Yeah, he's also one of those it's a prove it year for Justin. I think he is at that time. And for you Charger fans, I think you're starting to realize it too, that this is the coming of age years for you as a quarterback. And if you don't produce like everybody was hoping you would and become the Patrick Mahomes killer for the Chargers that they desperately need.
I mean, even Harbaugh knows it.
Well, absolutely. And especially when they're now looking at a team in Denver with Bo Nix that made it look a little bit easier to do that, right? Like is Bo Nix a better quarterback than Justin Herbert? I wouldn't say so, especially with a small sample size. But could he potentially be everything that the Chargers were hoping Justin would be and be the quarterback to be able to take down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Yeah, honestly, we've kind of seen it. Yeah. It could potentially happen. There's been play that it's like, oh, there could be a chance here, especially with the Chiefs going downhill in production.
So out of those 12 that you listed off, is there any quarterback that's not on that list that you think could surprise some people this year?
This year, if he could stay healthy, and I hate this coming out of my mouth. I hate it just because of the team he plays for, but Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I think if you could have a healthy season and get the offense back on track like you used to have, especially through the air, you could be in the consideration for top 10 quarterback. And honestly, I think being on the Dallas Cowboys is the easiest way for you to do that. Because let's be honest, ESPN eats up the Dallas Cowboys and it gets ratings. But if the Dallas Cowboys are doing well, it's kind of like the Knicks in basketball. Football usually does well. So if you can really turn your season around, I think Dak could probably bust into this top 10 list. Who he overtakes, Baker would probably be the easy option. I think, again, you're going to see a lot of regression from guys like Matthew Stafford and a lot of these older quarterbacks too. So maybe he drops off the list. But if besides those 12, I think Dak is most likely the one to jump into the list.
I could see that.
So
I was thinking Bo Nix before you said it because he's got the arm, he's got the team around him, and he's got the quarterback whisperer. So we'll see. I mean, I'm surprised with going on that list, I'm surprised Rodgers wasn't on that list.
I'm not, because again, it's much like the Stafford situation.
The way they talk about him.
I know, but are you talking about him because he is that? Or are you talking about that or talking about him because he was
the upside?
That?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's much the same as Stafford. Like, I love watching Stafford play. I love the fact that he could still go at the pace that he's going, but the buck stops somewhere and age comes for us all. Look at his best friend, Clayton Kershaw. I mean, as much as Dodger fans and myself as a baseball fan would love to see Clayton continue to play, buck stop somewhere.
It's funny you said Kershaw. We had a text that Kershaw mic'd up when John Smoltz said throw a cutter.
That was so great.
And Kershaw said, I don't throw a cutter. I'm throwing a curveball. Was probably the best thing I've seen on TV in a long time.
Oh, that is the best part of these baseball players getting mic'd up, though, isn't it? Like, I mean, we've seen it multiple times where an outfielder is mic'd up and the ball gets hit right at him. He's like, "Oh, wait, I'm not going to get this one." And then you get the commentary from them while they're making the play. It's the best. And honestly, Clayton did a great job answering questions while doing the pitching and all that. It was just really fun to watch. So I have to agree with you. That was one of the best parts, as well as I said earlier, the 715 monument or declaration or whatever you want to call it to Hank Aaron's 715th home run was also a highlight. So, is there any other text messages though before we get to a break? Since we've already started down that track, I know some of them are probably yelling at
me. It's usually the Get Bus drivers that cut me off, but yes, horrible drivers here in town.
We just have we're terrible. You know what? We're chalking it up to old people, but let's be honest. It's everybody. A lot of y'all can't drive, including myself. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the best driver in the world.
I am.
I mean, you can sit there and claim that. I'm not a perfect person, so I'll sit there. I've cut people off before. I've had to. Some of you won't let people in.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah. Some of you
people
literally are just
the fast lane is for faster cars.
Yeah, that too. And the passing lanes for the passing.
But the other one says Hurts at 9. Wow.
That's again, that is a wild place to put him. I really don't believe he's the 9th best quarterback in the NFL.
And the other 2 were for golf. So we'll take our break. We'll have Bolt Brady coming up at 8:30. So get in your golf questions if you have them, so we can make some side money for your British Open. But we can run down some of these WNBA stories right after this. We are the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. This is the early bird special. I'm reading up on this story that you told me about.
Crazy. Craziness.
Well, we haven't done a Wild Thing Wednesday in a while, but we just had a wild story break on ESPN. A Norwegian medalist in skiing just passed away after being struck by lightning and a cabin trip with his family. That is awful, but I mean, it just it was a bronze medal winner in the 2010 Vancouver Games, from what I'm reading here, and died Tuesday night after just a random lightning strike. Obviously, probably during a storm or during a cabin trip. That is wild. I mean, I hope that this was one of those situations where it was just random and nothing bad was going down, but to have this happen out of nowhere is just crazy.
On
Our
a
prayers,
family trip is even
yeah,
worse. So it's just
prayers go
horrible.
out to the family and all that. He was also a national team coach and TV commentator, from what I'm reading here. So, like I said, prayers go out to the family and all that. I am not even going to try to, pronounce the name because I'm not sure how to. But he is a Norwegian bronze medalist in 2010, and I guess it happened in Norway on Tuesday. So that's unfortunate. But let's move on to a little bit more lighter-hearted situation.
It's another
here.
day, another Caitlin Clark story.
Well, it's the WNBA, and they need Caitlin Clark stories. But what is this story?
Well, let's see. The first one was that she left with an injury yesterday.
Well,
her second of the season. And it was right after it was announced that she was going to be taking part of the 3-point contest with the upcoming All-Star break, which I believe is this weekend.
Is it really? Is it already this weekend?
So the 3-point contest, she will be debuting if she can get through this groin injury. And she's supposed to be playing against Sabrina, Alicia Gray, and let's see, the rising talents of Sonia and Kelsey Plum. So
Kelsey Plum's in it too. That would have been awesome. Dang it. You know what this is, Sparky, and I should have capitalized on this. The mush has struck again. Because I was offered an opportunity to double down on a wager that Caitlin Clark would win the 3-point contest by the mush himself. For those of you who know who that is. And I said no because I was like, no, you know what? I'm okay. I won my pizza. I'm happy. I'm cool with this. I should have taken the bet because I was saying Sabrina was going to win. I would have automatically got another pizza. Gosh dang it.
If she plays, I would take her.
I mean, well, yeah, obviously it's Caitlin Clark. And that's the other reason why I was like, am I really about to bet against the female version of Michael Jordan right now? The 3-point contest? Really? Like, no. And that's why I was like, I couldn't, I really couldn't get myself to do it. That was just absolutely dumb. But I mean, it's a groin injury from what I'm reading. It happened late in the game. Hopefully it's not something that's super serious, but she has been dealing with injuries all year and has been keeping her out of these games. And with the season being so short, obviously you want your star on the court as much as humanly possible. So for the Fever, this isn't a good sign going forward, but I would assume that she would be able to hopefully get this figured out and be ready for the All-Star weekend this weekend. Because she's also the captain of the All-Star team.
Yeah, she's got her own team.
So I would, again, without the Caitlin Clark on the All-Star team, not sure how many people are going to be actually watching the All-Star game.
I would watch the 3-point. I don't know about the All-Star game, but
maybe
to see Angel.
They need to bring back the 3-point contest when it was the guys and the girls.
Yes.
I would love to see Steph go against Sabrina again. I mean, we had the Splash Brothers against them a couple years ago. I thought it was a rousing success during the NBA All-Star weekend that year. I can't remember. Was it 2-3 years ago?
I think so.
3 years ago. Regardless, it's an idea that I think you could easily get done. And the women have some amazing shooters, including Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum, who could shoot a 3-pointer really well as well. I think it would be a really cool thing if we got like 3 or 4 athletes from the WNBA, 3 from the NBA, and then you just do a 6-man 3-point contest. Whoever wins. You know what I mean?
Just combined?
Yeah. Like you don't have to have it be like NBA versus WNBA. I think it would just be fun just to see all of them just compete against each other and just whoever wins that year. I think that would be a really cool way to incorporate both sides. And you could do it on both teams or All-Star weeks.
And cross promote it.
Yeah. And cross promote. Exactly. So like, obviously some of these players for the NBA aren't going to want to come out of their vacations to go do a 3-point contest, but maybe some of them will be willing to jump in.
The WNBA also announced a couple weeks ago that Portland would be one of the expansion teams, and yesterday they threw out their was it the Rose on fire?
Yes, the Fire.
So it's bringing back the Portland Fire.
I like it. I like the idea. I mean, you obviously have a connection with the Blazers too at that point that you can keep going. I really like the logo. What do you think?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And Portland, is it black and red?
Yes.
Well, then I like it.
Yeah,
That's my colors.
Portland Trailblazers. I mean, it is a great thing that they're expanding. We've obviously had the conversation a couple times. Would it be better if they expanded the teams or better if expanding the rosters? Personally, I'm on the side of expanding the roster sizes, but I guess we can get both here in the next couple of years if they decide to do that instead, I would hope. The NBA, though, is talking about their expansions because it's been 20 years since the Bobcats have joined joined the NBA. Now the Charlotte Hornets, no longer the Bobcats. Do you think, because a lot of teams now, there are talks that they want to expand and obviously bring in a team from maybe Seattle and maybe Vegas and bring those in and bring the teams up to, I believe that would make it 32. Do you think this is a good idea? Because a lot of these teams are actually thinking this isn't the right time and they're not really on the side of expanding right now.
I would probably hold off, but I think what they have now is working. I also read some international cities that would want to jump in, like Montreal, and I did hear Adam Silver's interview where he said nothing is been picked yet. We're just in the beginning conversations, right. So I think we're a couple years away, but I wouldn't say no to it.
Well, but
I remember when the Grizzlies and Raptors came out.
Right. And it's been a topic of conversation for the last couple of years, right? I think a lot of these owners are still worried about where the league was pre-COVID because it really was getting to a point where it was falling apart and it really was not doing well. The bubble surprisingly saved the NBA. It was so lucrative that it actually, it worked out in their favor. I think that since then, and especially with the rise the NBA has been on the last couple of years, because it has been building itself back up. It really has.
Look at those contracts.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think now it's actually in bringing in those contracts as well, because you have to factor that in, how much these players are making nowadays. You're going to throw 2 more teams in. Can you find 2 owners in those areas that can actually afford these types of contracts and make the teams worth putting down? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you set roots back in Seattle and you set roots in Vegas, both of those cities are expecting teams that are going to win. Seattle Supersonics, you better be ready to go, because that is a team that they have been begging for you to come back for years. And if you are anywhere close to being like a poor team, they're not going to be happy about it. And Vegas every team that has come to Vegas has been nothing but championship contenders. If you really look at it, the Aces, well, yeah, that's fair. We haven't gotten that, we haven't gotten there yet with them. But the Aces have won multiple championships in the WNBA. The Golden Knights, their first season, were competing for a Stanley.
And dude, last time I was in Vegas, they love them some Golden Knights, man.
Yes, they do.
They come out. I mean, they had the Statue of Liberty with a Golden Knights jersey last time I was there. And
they do.
That whole the locals love them some hockey.
And that's why they want a basketball team. And LeBron James has been a very vocal and avid partner in wanting to get a team there and potentially be the owner of that team, I would assume. But it's going to happen. It's just like, technology in baseball. They're going to expand here the next couple of years. But do you think it's really the smart time right now with how the league has progressing up? Do you think they should wait maybe 3-4 more years to where this could be at a better financial situation for them and they're a little more stable? Because much like a lot of these other teams who complain about, them getting money or not getting money, which we'll get to in a second, you could shoot yourself in the foot at the same time if you try to do this too early.
Yeah, I mean, the business side of me would probably wait and get it set up in the next couple of years and expand it like in 2030. Let the LeBron era
die down
and bring something in special, new. But yeah, I would have to see how it would line up, how they would pull players the expansion draft, or I mean, how I forget how they even do that.
So expansion drafts, from what I remember, is every team just puts up 1 or 2 players that they're willing to like part with, but have a stable contract still, and the teams kind of pick from there, as well as getting like maybe the first or second pick in next year's draft, because obviously you're not going to have the team built around you. So it's just
Who
kind
could
of
be
something
the
like
face
that.
of that team?
Exactly.
But I've also read the stuff you were bringing up, like LeBron wants in.
Oh, LeBron's wanted in on a team in Vegas for years. He's been very vocal about that. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if you're right. We just Silver waits for the LeBron era to end, and then once LeBron is done, maybe has a year or two in retirement, comes back and says, "All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put down the money for it right now. We'll get something set up in Vegas, and we'll be the Las Vegas Spades or something like that, or the Las Vegas Vipers or whatever you want to call
Those
yourself."
lists we had.
Because aces are already gone, so I'm like, dang it. But I mean, you got to find some way to put a team down in Vegas, because at this point, we talked about it the other day, Vegas is becoming the sports capital of America. It genuinely is. It's already the entertainment capital of America. It's becoming the sports capital now. And with all of these organizations just diving into all of this, the money that's coming from it, you can't walk away from that.
Well, it is time to take our break. We'll come back with Bold Brady. He'll make his return right after this break. We are the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM. Welcome back to the Early Bird Special. It has been a while since we've heard this song, but it is true. Our guy Bolt Brady from Bolt Brady and his Bro is back to help you out with the British Open starting tomorrow. Plus, I got to get his thoughts on a lot of these stories coming out of golf right now because there's a lot happening. But, sir, how are you? How have you been enjoying your summer vacation? Hopefully, it's been going well.
Oh, good morning, fellas. Yeah, little golf and coaching my son's team, so it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. Coaching what? Football?
Yep, football starting up.
Nice. Very cool. Are you a positions coach, head coach? What are we looking at here?
I'm a receivers coach. Yep.
Nice. Okay. That's what I was the head coach at one point too, but I coached tight ends and receivers for a long time. So I totally get that.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, and it's one of the most rewarding things that I've been able to do in my life, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed doing it. But we got to talk about some golf, sir. And let's start with Wyndham Clark real quick. What's going on with this guy? Does he have anger issues or something? I mean, they've come out and he's now banned from the Oakmont Country Club after destroying the locker. 30 days before that, at the PGA Championship, he flung his driver in frustration. Is that going to affect his invitations to some of these events?
Well, he definitely needs to reel it in. And when he put the hole in the locker, the first reaction was he's never allowed back here again. But it's funny you bring that up because one of my buddies actually has an inside track on them, and they're in order for him to get back into the club, he's going to have to make some donations to some charities and take some anger management classes, and they'll let him back to the course.
I mean, at this point, he's looking like Happy Gilmore. I mean, you're just getting angry all over the place, punching holes in walls. It's fun to watch in a movie, but in real life golf, you really don't want to see that, right?
No, and it's interesting because that attitude personality works for like a middle linebacker, but not a golfer.
Exactly. I don't know. I just had to hear your thoughts on that one. And then the other story, obviously, is Scotty came out and is pretty much said winning is whatever. Do you think that his mindset has shifted in the game, that he's just kind of getting bored with winning all the time?
He's kind of been a free-flowing guy the whole time, which I think has really helped his game. I don't think he would get this far without being pretty competitive, but he does have a great attitude. It's just laissez-faire, and it's been working really well for him.
Right. And I could not believe what I heard, though, when he said yesterday, it's like, what's the point of winning anymore? It's like, wow, is he just that bored with the game? Like, are we going to see Scotty Scheffler retire next year just because he's too good? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I think that some of the Irishmen will give him a run for the money this weekend, though.
You think so? Well, let's talk about one of them. I mean, Rory is skipping sleep just to actually get ready for this. So is he worried about some of those Irishmen as well?
I do think Rory's going to do well. You know, I remember that it was actually played here in 2019 as well. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Everyone was fired up for Rory. And on the first tee box, he ripped it out of bounds and took an 8 on the first hole. And from that point on, it was over with, and he didn't make the cut. But now, since he's got all 4 majors underneath his belt, I really think that he's going to settle in, and I think he'll embrace the crowd, the Irish crowd.
Okay, so the betting against Rory is not happening this time.
Yeah, that was done. It worked well for us, but now I do think he's going to embrace it. I just think he had so much pressure on him to win all those majors, and now that he has, I think he's going to settle in, and I think he'll do well. And I think Shane Lowry, who actually won it here back in 2019, another Irishman, I think he'll do well too. He obviously embraced the crowd. And then lastly, what I really like is an older Irishman, Padraig Harrington, Patty Harrington. You can actually take him against Phil Mickelson one-on-one for the tournament. And Patty Harrington actually just on the senior tour, he just won the U.S. Open, and he's got 2 British Opens underneath his belt. I think, again, he'll embrace the crowd, and I think he'll do much better than Phil Mickelson.
Okay, fantastic. I think we got a couple text message questions for you as well. Right, Spark?
We do.
Fantastic. Let's go to those real quick.
The first one says, when's the lowest round number you'll be betting on? And the second one said, besides Scotty, who's the person no one is talking about that has a real shot of winning it?
Ooh, besides Scotty that no one's talking about that has a shot at winning it? Well, Shane Lowry's 22-1, so that's pretty good odds. I think if you want to go further down, I do like Brooks Koepka because he actually did well the last major. He finished 17th, and he always battles in these. He's like 66-1, so I think he's a good one. And then the other question was, what was the score? I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah, I didn't understand the question. It said, what the lowest round number going to be?
Oh, like what's the lowest someone's going to shoot? I don't know. Rory's got the course record here of he shot a 61 when he was 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So it'll be higher than that.
I would assume, but you had to have some great wind on that day. Good Lord. I cannot imagine shooting a 61 ever. Well, thank you for your picks, sir. And actually, before we let you go, football right around the corner. And we started this a little bit of football. We've been talking about this all day, but the top 10 quarterback list for the NFL was released by by ESPN yesterday, leaving off some key names like CJ Stroud, Jordan Love. Who do you think is the top 5 right now in the NFL, and who would you bet on to be probably an MVP candidate going into next year?
Well, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar. Let me see. Patrick, Josh Allen, Lamar, Joe Burrow. I think those 4, no matter what. Who else did they have on there? Did they have Jalen Hurts on there?
They did, but Hurts is actually lower on that list at 9, if you can believe it.
Who did they have as their top 5?
So the top 5 was actually the 4 you mentioned. So Patrick, Josh, Joe was 3, Lamar is 4. They have Jaden Daniels at 5. They have Matt Stafford at 6, Jared Goff at 7, I believe. No, I'm sorry, Justin Herbert at 7, Jared Goff at 8, and then I believe it was Baker at 10 as well.
Well, what's interesting about that is Jared Goff, is he a product of his environment and the system is he in? Or not, because his stats the last 3 ridiculous, the passing yards and touchdowns. So I kind of like, James Daniels, of course, that guy showed signs of greatness, but I'd like to see people do it, a little bit more often than one season. So I would definitely bump him back.
See, I have to agree. We talked about that, especially with the CJ Stroud situation last year. Everyone was kind of doing the same thing they were doing with Jaden this year, and a little bit of an overhype. Now CJ is not even on the list. So next year we could be talking about the exact same thing with Jaden. He may not even be in the top 10 next year. Who knows? But I could not believe that Jared is still this low on this list. Personally, I believe that you're right in a way that he is he's a benefit of his system, obviously, but at the same time, he's done it with 2 different teams now.
Right.
So
exactly.
Sustained greatness, obviously, across multiple teams has to prove something, right? At least get you over the guy who has succeeded you with the Rams and Stafford. Because as much as I love Matt Stafford, when's the buck going to drop? You know what I mean? Like, when are we going to start realizing that Stafford's not necessarily the same Stafford we saw lead the Rams to the Super Bowl a couple years ago?
Right, exactly. And then if you really want to get down to it, some teams have way better offensive lines than others. For example, Joe Burrow's line is not very good, and he still makes it happen, which is crazy. Those top 4, they're a whole nother level, and they're so fun to watch.
So right now, betting odds most likely to be in those 4's favor, I would assume.
Yeah, for sure, and for the MVP as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time as always. We will talk to you during football season, and we can't wait to talk to you soon.
Look forward to it. Take care, guys.
Thanks, brother. We got to take a break real quick, pay some bills. This is the Early Bird Special on 101.1 FM, 1230 a.m., ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Final segment of the day. Big thanks to our guy, Bolt Brady, for coming in, giving you guys betting tips for the British Open. Get started tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure who I like, to be honest with you. Scotty is easily the choice, but I mean, I don't like to go with the easy choice every single time. It's not fun. It's not sports. You know what I mean? You got to go with somebody a little different every single time. I'll go with one of the Irishmen, I guess.
Who's the moosh taking?
I don't know. I'll find out tonight. I will. Honestly, we'll have Nick Ragone on to talk about it as well.
Nick Ragone.
He is a great, intelligent man. That is a huge golf aficionado, so he will help you out as well if you're interested in that. I don't know exactly what time, but the Ralph Bailey Show is on from 3 to 6 on our sister station of Kern Radio. You can hear it every single day or watch it on YouTube now as well.
Oh, no.
At Kern Radio. They have followed suit with us and are now on YouTube.
Some headlines breaking this morning.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if we wanted to get into that.
Well, Adam Frazier was traded from the Pittsburgh Pirates
These are the good
to
ones.
the Kansas City Royals.
Well, the Royals trying to load up here and make a push. I like that. And
for a minor league infielder.
Honestly, at this point, for the Pittsburgh Pirates, you're just doing everything you can to maneuver some money around and potentially pay your flamethrowers and Jared Jones and Paul Skeens to potentially keep them there for the foreseeable future. So this is probably a good move for that going forward.
One of the two available first rounders that haven't signed their rookie contracts. One is down. Broncos first round cornerback Barron agreed to his rookie deal.
Finally.
Bengals Shamar Stewart is the only remaining opening round pick unsigned.
At this point, I don't know if he's going to sign. Do you think he's going to sign? Should we do a countdown clock?
I doubt it.
We should do a countdown clock until the day he has to sign or something. Because at this point, I don't think he's going to sign.
No, I think he's calling since he's bluff.
I think so too.
And I'm proud of him for standing up, but I don't know how this is gonna.
It's definitely going to be a talking point next year. 110%. This is going to be those stories that you hear from the beginning of draft week to the end, and it's going to be who's taking Shamar Stewart. I don't think you're going in the first round.
My number one question when it comes to the Bengals, do you think sooner or later before week 1 that Trey gets signed?
That's another one that I'm not sure. I genuinely think they're going to find a trade partner and Trey will get signed to whoever he goes to. I think that it's just not going to happen in Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati has the funds or the willingness to actually sign these guys. I think Cincinnati genuinely believes they can win a championship with just offense only and somehow just convince rookie players to come and play for them for dirt cheap. I think that's literally the plan. But again, I could be wrong. I don't think, though, that the deal is going to get done. I don't think they see Trey Hendrickson as a long-term answer at the defensive end position, which they're wrong. But go ahead, go off and trade him to whoever you want to and let him be the sack king of the NFL for the remainder of his career, most likely, because this guy is a stud and you should really put back any money you need to pay this guy. But you didn't, and you actually gave it to T. Higgins instead because Joe Burrow asked you to do so. You probably would have been fine with just Jamar, but you signed T. Higgins as well.
And you got Gesicki. You got Gesicki back too. But I was looking through that top 10 list, and I saw Bleacher Report put down their top 10 offenses going into the season, and I was surprised. Both of our teams made the list in the top 10 offenses.
Wait. Atlanta.
Yep. So the number
Miami
top 10 offenses going in, and this is just strictly offense.
Okay,
trust me, because if we're talking the whole teams, I don't know if teams would make it. But number 10 is the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, yeah. Until we see any different that that JJ's not going to pan out, I can agree with that. It's going to be a big show up year for him, though.
Number 9 would be the Dallas Cowboys.
Again, you heard me say it earlier. The Dallas Cowboys, if they can get it together, completely understand that. And Dak Prescott could be a top 10 quarterback at the end of the year.
Who is their running back?
That is a good question.
I think it's Javonte Williams.
Did they pick up Javonte? Are they the ones? Let me look that up while you keep going with
Number 8 would be the LA Rams. It says Stafford is one of the league's most accomplished active franchise quarterbacks, and that goes right back to the conversation. But with the addition of Devontae Adams is keeping them in the conversation. And number 7 would be my Dolphins. And it always ends with, if Tua can stay healthy.
Yeah. I mean, again, paper skin, glass bones, all that.
We'll see. Number 6 would be the Atlanta Falcons.
That is why, like, don't get me wrong. I am happy to be on this list.
It just says 4 of the 5 guys listed above are former top 10 draft picks.
True. And they're all probably in the top of their positions as well. Well, not Kyle Pitts, but Bijan easily is a top 5 running back in the league. Drake London, I will die on this hill, is a top 10 wide receiver in the league. He does not get the love he deserves for what he's dealt with in Atlanta. It reminds me a lot of Mike Evans. I think at the end of his career, he'll start getting that love. But right now, it's just going to be overshadowed by a lot of greatness because, I mean, it's hard to live up to guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and all these other guys who are just so flashy and can make it look effortless. But Drake does make it look effortless, just in a different way. So it's like his way is just not flashy anymore in the NFL. So he won't get the love he deserves.
I think with Penix, I think it'll get a little more flashy.
You know what? I have to agree with that.
I think with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, it's kind of hard to be flashy.
Well, I don't know because again, Kirk's had Justin. Kirk had a lot of great wide receivers.
He also had McLaurin and other guys.
Exactly.
I think the eyes just go away with Cousins. But the top 5, going off of Bleacher Report, the top 5 offensive teams, number 5 would be the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's loaded, so I completely understand that. Although if Jennings does want out, your wide receiver room is getting pretty thin out there in San Francisco.
Number 4 was Baltimore, which I thought would be a higher pick. But number 3, Detroit.
Yep. Until I see differently, and until we are proven that the offensive coordinator was everything to that offense, I can't say different.
Number 2, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, again, all the money goes to the Cincinnati Bengals offense, so you would hope that they're in the top 5 conversation. Yeah.
And number 1 is the Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I would assume.
Is it surprising that Kansas City is not in this list? Buffalo is not on this list.
But I'm not surprised at that. And
I'm not surprised with Buffalo because they're receivers and the running backs.
And I think Kansas City is swiftly leaning towards that area as well. Even Travis Kelce, I mean, you heard his own organization say just a week ago that he took a massive step back last year. So it's really just showing that all you have on that team, on both of those offenses, are quarterbacks. You have outstanding quarterbacks that make everybody else look good. I will still concede that Kansas City has Travis Kelce, and until Travis Kelce retires, they will always have the piece that is Travis Kelce.
And they still have those speedy receivers.
Yes, and I don't mean that in a literal sense. I mean that in a sense of playmaking, because you know dang well if you are not paying attention to Travis Kelce, he will make you pay for it. But in terms of stacking him up against all the other offenses we just talked about, including Atlanta and Miami's, which I'm still baffled Atlanta is that high up there. But you look at every other position, Atlanta beats them at running back. Atlanta beats them at wide receiver. Arguably, Atlanta probably beats them at line too. Well, outside of the Brown signing, which we didn't actually get to, but he just signed a massive contract, so he's not going anywhere. But if you really look at it and you chalk it up to what we've seen, it's arguable that their offenses don't stack up with a lot of these other ones, but that could always change. Players have made, obviously, a lot of talking heads look stupid before, and breakout seasons happen every single season. So who knows? Maybe both of those offenses will have somebody at the wide receiver position just break out for them. Maybe Keon Coleman turns into the wide receiver everybody in Buffalo hoped he would. And we're all talking about a completely different top 10, like 5 to 10 weeks into the season. So
nope.
That is around the corner, though. Football is almost here, so get ready for it. We got to get out of here, though. Join us tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m. Do we have a guest tomorrow? Oh, Our Hopper was coming in. He's going to talk all things movies. That's right. Join us then, 7 to 9. Until then, we got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Actually, no, it's the great Seth Rollins today taking over for Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.